Hello, my name is Nigel Thorne, and I'm concerned that under the guise of trans inclusion, the Welsh Government are pushing a dangerous ideology. In a previous video, I revealed how the Welsh Government awarded PR agency Lynn a contract to deliver an integrated marketing campaign to support behaviour change around the reduction of speeds from 30 miles per hour to 20 miles per hour in specified residential areas across Wales. The value of the contract to date is over £500,000. Shortly after the contract was awarded, staff members from Lynn's misinformation cell, including Stefan Rolnick, the former digital misinformation analyst who worked for the First Minister's office, had a hit piece about Public Child Protection Wales published on the website of the Institute of Welsh Affairs. Public Child Protection Wales were accused of being deeply connected to the far right and of borrowing from the very dangerous QAnon playbook. This was done in advance of the judicial review brought by concerned parents, represented by PCP Wales, against the Welsh Government. In an article on the Lynn Group website titled "The Dangers of Debating Disinformation," Casturi Gurm from Lynn's misinformation cell writes, "The hidden risk that comes with publicly challenging false information comes in the form of unintentional yet hugely damaging amplification of the misinformation. This is because, as a result of social media algorithms, misinformation is then exposed to a wider audience, increasing its potent negative impact on the debate in question. Indeed, confronting myths head-on can inadvertently create the illusion of a legitimate debate, which fuels perceptions that there are two valid sides to the issue at hand, and more alarmingly, two truths. Lynn's misinformation cell does not recommend dialogue. Contrary to the postmodern philosophy that underpins the queer theory that is being pushed into schools in Wales, Casturi Gurm does not believe it is good to fuel the perception that there is more than one truth. In contrast, Professor Emma Renold from Cardiff University, the person responsible for developing the RSC code and guidance to be used in Welsh schools, writes, "The heteronormativity of gender relations in the early years is certainly ripe for some gender trouble, and much of this work is well underway and radically disrupting a range of gender and sexual truths in what might be more fittingly described as the heteroformative years. Queer theorists are attempting to change society by changing language. Children in schools in Wales will be taught that the word gender is not a synonym for sex, as it is defined in the Oxford English Dictionary. It is instead an identity. The Welsh Government have taken a word that is defined as an objective truth, and they have redefined that word as a subjective feeling. Now, we use language to rationalise, and undoubtedly this change to the meaning of the word gender is having a cognitive impact on our young people."
I've also been told that you take gender too literally. You sort of say, back when I was younger, no one cared. It's like, yeah, they did. Of course they did. They just didn't speak out about it because they were scared, because there was discrimination that was much worse than it is.
The goal of queer theorists is to dissolve the binary oppositions which are regarded as inherently hierarchical and therefore oppressive. Again, Professor Renold writes, "Queer theory is linked to forms of politics which deliberately seek to break down the fixed boundaries between the hetero-homo, gender and other binaries, to multiply sexual categories and ultimately dissolve them. The Catholic Church see gender theory or queer theory as dangerous
The Catholic Church put out a document criticizing the concept of gender identity. The Vatican's Congregation for Catholic Education put together the 31-page paper, spelling out how Catholic schools, parents, and others should talk about gender theory. It says radical forms of gender identity are founded on nothing more than a confused concept of freedom in the realm of feelings and wants. The document says the idea of being transgender or gender neutral is fictitious.
The document states, the context in which the mission of education is carried out is characterized by challenges emerging from varying forms of an ideology that is given the general name gender theory, which denies the difference and reciprocity in nature of a man and a woman and envisages a society without sexual differences, thereby eliminating the anthropological basis of the family. This ideology leads to educational programs and legislative enactments that promote a personal identity and emotional intimacy radically separated from the biological difference between male and female. Consequently, human identity becomes the choice of the individual, one which can also change over time. The Welsh government appear to believe that they know better. Gender identity is required to dissolve the binary opposition between men and women. In Wales, this idea is manifested everywhere. It is pushed in Welsh schools. It is pushed in the Welsh Gender Clinic. It is pushed in support groups. It is pushed by the training officer for children in Wales. It is pushed in Welsh universities, as Llinos Evans from Aberystwyth University writes, I'm non-binary, which means that I don't identify with the sex I was assigned at birth. Because my gender identity doesn't relate to the traditional binary choice of man or woman, I use the pronouns they and them. If you identify with the sex assigned to you at birth, you are cisgender. The culture now that everyone, cisgender and trans people, includes pronouns on, for example, emails or badges, is becoming increasingly common and is to be applauded. In doing so, it normalizes discussions about gender and ensures that trans and non-binary communities are in safe spaces. Not everyone at Aberystwyth University is so enthusiastic. On the GC Academia website, a student has posted, I'm a student at Aberystwyth University. I have been researching into queer theory and trans activism for a while now, and I'm absolutely appalled and equally saddened by how many of my fellow students have been brainwashed by its ideologies. Going into second year, there will be a module on queer theory and Welsh literature, and I'm rather worried that gender identity theories will feature heavily, if not exclusively, in the module, and that there will be a very low tolerance for any gender-critical analysis. Why should I, as a 20-year-old lesbian, be scared to criticise queer theory, or any theory for that matter, while at university? It's absolutely bonkers. The Welsh Government have appointed a Future Generations Commissioner whose responsibility it is to ensure public bodies comply with the Wellbeing of Future Generations Wales Act, which is about improving the social, economic, environmental and cultural well-being of Wales. Sophie Howe was Wales's first Future Generations Commissioner, only leaving the role this year. Because of the massive societal impact on future generations, surely she will have a view on the benefits or otherwise of gender theory. Sadly not. On the Future Generations website from 2021, there is a post titled, Pride 2021 will mean something different to everyone, and that's okay. In the post, Jacob Ellis writes, in March this year, Jane Hutt announced that Welsh Government would publish its draft LGBTQ Action Plan for Wales, and to draw on the lived experiences of LGBTQ people to guide the content and actions within the plan throughout its development. Mark Drakeford was happy to be very selective in who he decided to take advice from. On the 15th of November 2023, Mark Drakeford accepted an award from trans lobby group Trans in the City.
On behalf of the Welsh Government, I'm delighted to receive this award, an award which recognises the ambition of our LGBTQ Action Plan for Wales and the work of Welsh ministers, community groups and officials across the Welsh Government. I want to thank the trans and non-binary communities in Wales, those people who generously shared their time and their experiences with us. We could not have devised the plan without them, because their voices and their hopes guided us to make our commitments in the action plan as ambitious as they are necessary. On behalf of the Welsh Government, we thank you all for this award.
In May 2023, Sophie Howe joined the Lynn Group, powered by behavioural science. They're all about impact and changing behaviours for good. In an article titled Braving Change, she writes, "There is also an urgent need to get a better handle on the spread of mis and disinformation, for politicians to understand what they need to worry about and what they don't, and understanding best ways to effectively neutralise versus fuel potentially toxic debate and convey facts in an accessible format which authentically resonates with citizens." The LGBTQ Action Plan has changed the definitions of words. Who, Sophie, exactly is spreading the disinformation?
We recommit ourselves to supporting trans and non-binary people, and our starting point is that trans men are men, trans women are women, and non-binary identities are valid.
Who, Sophie Howe, exactly is spreading the disinformation?
If I tell you, said Thomas, you might not be my friend anymore. I'll always be your friend, Thomas. Thomas the teddy took a deep breath. I need to be myself, Errol. In my heart, I've always known that I'm a girl teddy, not a boy teddy. I wish my name was Tilly, not Thomas. Oh, is that why you've been so sad? Errol asked. I don't care if you're a girl teddy or a boy teddy. What matters is that you are my friend.
Gender is not something that is inherent to persons. There is no evidence to that effect. Gender is, in fact, the relationship between the person's free will and the series of stereotypes that assign behaviors or patterns or roles to a particular given sex or to the understanding of sex in a given society.
So I think for us it's about ensuring that we deliver it in a really sensitive and age-appropriate manner, but also aware that what we're actually doing is preventing them from trying to learn it from perhaps the internet, other children, and getting misconceived opinions.
Who, Sophie, exactly is spreading the disinformation? This is child indoctrination. Under the guise of trans inclusion, a dangerous ideology is being pushed by the Welsh Government, and moderate trans voices are being completely ignored. Those parents who believe that the Welsh Government is spreading disinformation, which is dangerous to both women and children, may wish to support Public Child Protection Wales. Links are included below.